Paulie malignaggi here for Paulie TV. The European tour continues. Tonight we got Jake Paul Anderson Silva, the next chapter in the Jake Paul legacy tour, YouTuber tour. You know what? He's not up against a boxer, but he's going up against the first guy in his career who had some hand skills, and that's Anderson Silva. Now, granted, this is a 47, 48-year-old Anderson Silva, but if we can base Anderson off of what he did to Chavez Jr. in June, who I think was always overrated, but, you know, let's face it, Chavez Jr. in his better days still had a win over Andy Lee, which has to be considered a good win, even if you want to say it was it may have been I don't know, a fluky thing. You know, he had a good night. I don't know, because then there's also 5 or 6 wins on Chavez Jr.'s record that don't even belong there. He just robbed the guys. But either way, that's beside the point. That's neither here nor there. Anderson Silva made him look pretty bad and dominated him in a boxing match. So it's a situation where, you know, it's a step up for Jake Paul regardless of Anderson's age, regardless of anything. That was just a few months back, and Anderson was able to do that to Chavez Jr. So we got to base it off of that. Jake Paul, he hasn't fought since last December. Now, if he stayed in the gym from then till now, obviously he's going to keep getting better and better. Because I think your first year's boxing, you're getting better every single month if you're dedicated to the sport. And it seems like Jake has been very, very dedicated to the sport. You can't really afford to take long layoffs when you're in that learning stage. I can remember, you know, starting boxing in summer of '97. Honestly, the first time I even had a full week off from the gym, and I was already a pro. Probably not till about 2002 or so. I mean, literally, even if I would take a day off in the gym, it would be a day or two at max. Even during holidays, I'm telling you, it was crazy. Like, that was the dedication. That's the kind of dedication you need when you first start. Now, I think my first full week off from the gym was probably like 9/11. I'll be honest with you, man. You know, 9/11 forced everything to close for a little while in New York. But if I'm not mistaken, that was probably it. But either way, I think Jake has to have that kind of dedication if he's going to continue to get better and better, which means, let's say for argument's sake, he has that kind of dedication. He hasn't fought since last December. The version of Jake that I saw last December, I don't think would beat Anderson Silva. Now, has he been in the gym consistently since then and continuing to work on his craft and get better and better with a solid team that he has around him, you know, led by BJ Flores and company? You know, I think so. I think, you know, we're going to see a much better Jake Paul if he's been dedicated and in the gym since last December, regardless of the fact that I think the Anderson Silva that fought Chavez Jr. in June would beat the Jake Paul that I saw in Tampa against Tyron Woodley in the rematch in December of last year. So I can only go by what I saw. I'm probably going to angle more towards Anderson and just his crafty maneuverability. He's not a big puncher. He's going to pot shot you a lot. They're going to make you look bad. But again, if you don't have the ability to relax when you're missing him and the ability to relax when he's hitting you with those pot shots, because let's face it, pot shots may not be concussive, but they're annoying, and they don't tickle either. You know, there's still punches, especially when you don't see them coming, and they hit you at weird angles and weird moments. They make you doubt yourself. They, you know, especially when you're being countered, you'll start to second guess your own ability to attack. So I think it's something to consider. What kind of adjustments Jake's going to have to be able to make. It's also the first southpaw in Jake's career that he's fighting, so it's also something else to keep in mind. One of the controversies of late that's happened going into this fight has been Anderson Silva mentioning that he got knocked out 2 times in training for the fight, and that almost caused the fight to get canceled. He chalked it up to a language barrier. I don't necessarily think I believe that. I mean, Anderson his English is not his first language, but he's talked about knockouts and knocking people out and all that stuff for decades now in the English language. So although his English is not his first language, I think you know, that would. I'm a little bit unsure of what to believe about that. But I will say this: in my weird relationship I had with the MMA community, I've noticed that it's a weird, strange community. Like and a lot of the selling points in that community for the fans and even the fighters is like, try to act like crazy, like try to act like you're crazy, as if like being more crazy is going to be intimidating to like the opponent or like to other people. And so I noticed even from the fans, it's like the crazier they are or the crazier the guy is, like the better fighter they think he is. In boxing, it was funny because the more somebody tried that kind of shit, the more I wanted to kick their ass, and it actually aggravated me even more that they would even think that kind of bullshit would actually intimidate me or would actually affect me. If anything, a lot of the emotional stuff in boxing made me fight better in those moments. If there was anything that was going to affect me negatively, it would be, you know, my performances in the gym and my training. that was happening in training camp, not these kind of things. But in the MMA community, I notice there's like this affinity with like people acting crazy, or like the craziness makes you a better fighter. It's like a weird, almost like low IQ level thing. So I really, I hope not. I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like Anderson was trying to make like he's crazy, like you know, I got knocked out twice in this fight. That's how hard I'm training. You know, like I got knocked out twice in training, and I'm here and I'm ready to fight. And obviously, in the stupidity, it almost ended up getting the fight canceled by the commission. But I don't know what to make of it exactly, but that's sort of what I'm angling to based on my experiences with the weirdness of the MMA community. Like, they think if a guy acts crazy, like he's a better fighter. And so I think it starts to a little bit like rub off on the fighters themselves, you know. In boxing, that doesn't even make a difference, actually, and no fans will think you're a better fighter just because you act a little bit crazy. They'll think you're dumb, but you won't think you're a better fighter, and no opponent will actually get intimidated by any crazy antics. You know, trash talking may get in somebody's head and whatnot, may even make for better promotion, but literally, like, the crazy stuff, like when somebody acts crazy, you shouldn't intimidate anybody if you're a pro fighter, at least not in boxing. But anyway, so, I mean, I don't know what to make of that, but I just want to touch on that as well. Luckily, they didn't cancel the fight, because that would have been a real dumb reason to get this fight canceled. Again, I probably angle more towards Anderson and his ability to pacquiao a little bit and just have better shot selection based on what you know, just what I've seen of them most recently in their fights, in their exhibitions or fights, whatever. I don't know if Anderson was an exhibition with Chavez Jr., but I'm curious. I'm certainly curious about this fight, you know, because we've seen Jake continue to improve, and it's been almost a year, not more than 9 months. It's been almost a year since his last fight, so I am very, very curious to see how he looks in this fight and how he handles, not only how he's able to handle, if he's able to handle his first southpaw and his first very, very crafty hand skill fighter of his career, regardless of the age. Obviously, we know we're not looking for Jake Paul to fight a prime hand-skilled fighter after 5 or 6 pro fights. Let's face it. I know everybody's like dying for Jake to kind of step it up and whatnot, but everything in due time. He's got to make it balance out between the marketability of the opponent and also the skill level of the opponent in comparison to him. He's getting better. Let's see what happens. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe. This is Paulie Malignaggi of Paulie TV, the European Tour.